Good morning. I didn't stay up for the eclipse. I was asleep, but I got up for Mercury Retrograde. See there? Welcome in here to the quick TGI Friday episode of the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us. 4:34 a.m. Eastern. Not there yet. I'm recording this a little bit before it, so I'm going to celebrate in some kind of crazy, insane way when Mercury goes retrograde. The astronomical phenomenon where Mercury passes between the Earth and the Sun. Now, for those of you who are going to be marking the days on a physical calendar strapped to your refrigerator, you can count down until May 14th, because that's when it stations direct again. Now, right in the middle of this, of course, while we're talking retrogrades, on May 1st, don't forget that Pluto also goes retrograde. That one will not be so fast. It will stay retrograde all the way until October 10th. In fact, during this Mercury retrograde, I'll put together a retrograde calendar for the rest of the year, and we'll talk about that next week so that we can grasp that. Now, the eclipse. How was the eclipse for you? However you experienced it. You know, since I saw the full eclipse in 2017, they've always been extra special for me. I don't know, all this talk about everything going crazy. And the rocket launch, did you see the rocket launch, the SpaceX big rocket that went up? We're going to talk about that on Sunday night on Level Up. Oh, and I have a special surprise for you Sunday night. In fact, 2 surprises on Level Up. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but it's going to be great. 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, that's when we do our meditation to get the week started, and we're going to use the rocket launch as a platform or as a springboard to talk about don't look at things as they appear. A bunch of astrologers, and I'm going to say, including Ray Merriman, posted on Twitter about the failure of the SpaceX rocket launch during the eclipse and Mercury retrograde. Are you people crazy for launching at that time? Well, we launched a course, and it did great. And thank you for those of you who are in the course today. What do you think, huh? Amazing, right? I'm telling you, some of the best astrological knowledge you will ever get is in that course. It's right at the top of the funastrology.com webpage if you'd like to jump in. But I'm going to take the other side because to SpaceX, the rocket launch was not a failure, even though it did, well, as they say, unexpectedly disassemble. The message there is don't look at things for what they appear to be. We'll see you Sunday night. It's going to be a great discussion. Now, other than Mercury going retrograde, probably by the time you're hearing this, the only other thing we have today, if you catch it, would be a void of course moon for the last 20 minutes of the day if you're in the Eastern time zone, because the moon enters Gemini tomorrow morning really early at 6:10 a.m. Eastern time. Good week for journaling. You've got a Gemini moon on Saturday and Sunday. The only other exact aspect in the sky actually involves Mercury. Speaking of Gemini, Mercury, Saturday the moon, right? And Sunday evening late at 11:20 p.m. Eastern, Mars sextiles Mercury in retrograde. So one of the other things that I've been hearing, feeling, and to some degree sensing myself is just the general angst that's been around this eclipse. For astrologers, I would imagine that is primarily due to Pluto's position. When we have the lunar eclipse on May 5th, Pluto will be in retrograde. Pluto stays within a couple of degrees of that line of Capricorn 29 and Aquarius 0 degrees all the way until next year. It's going to bake. Saturn is in the next sign over from its own Aquarius in Pisces, uncomfortable position. Mars is in Cancer, uncomfortable position in its fall in ancient astrology. Venus in Gemini, next sign over from Taurus, its own sign, uncomfortable position. Uranus in Taurus, also a fall position for Uranus, uncomfortable position. And Jupiter is wrapping up its transit through Aries, which is the next sign over from its own ancient sign of Pisces. So do you see how the chart is just tilted a little bit here? It's wobbly right now, isn't it? One of the things you learn in this Horary course is Robert triangulates, basically, the position of your question, so let's just say the chart, or the position of your emotions, and the alignment in the sky at that given moment with what is the force beyond the sky, God, the cosmos, the universe, source. And the beauty of horary astrology is that those come together in order to answer your question. Well, we've just been in this phase where some of those alignments, for those of us who are energetically sensitive, 1/3 of that triad is basically in just wonky energy. This too shall pass, and it will, and we'll get through it on the other side. But we do have a lot of stuff, of course, coming up between now and then, including this summer's retrograde season, and we will talk about that next week. All right, great weekend for journaling. Mercury's in retrograde. Thomas, what do you mean? Yeah, right backwards. Capture your thoughts. Mars is in there, and that will give it some added punch. And that's in a sextile, by the way. So, yeah, favorable aspect. Have a great weekend. I will be back to talk about financial astrology tomorrow, and then we'll see you back here Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then back here on Monday.